Welcome back to part two of creating histograms using QI macros. I encourage you to go back and view part one, in which we walked through all the basic steps to create a histogram using QI macros, and now we're presented with a dilemma in this last example. I've gone in and modified the data tab to create smaller bin sizes of 5 minutes, but now I've run out of screen real estate, and the histogram abruptly stops at the 45-second mark in our screen right now. And we want to try to figure out ways to increase the space available for our chart to display the rest of the histogram. That's what part two is all about, and we'll continue where we left off. How do we adjust that? Um, to do that, there's a couple of things that we'll need to do. One is we have to go back into the data tab and specify where all of the data points are that the analysis should be performed on. And we're going to have to change the information related to the data source in the chart itself. It's a two-part process. Let's first make sure that we've got all of the data that's needed for the analysis. So I'm going to go back to the data tab. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that the range count distribution and count two columns run out down far enough to include all of the information that we want for our analysis. And in this situation, it does look like it runs down far enough, so we're good there. Occasionally what will happen is if you want, if you change the scale of your chart, you may need to run these calculations down further, like so. In this situation, we're good. We don't really need to add anything in terms of adding additional calculations. But what we do need to do is we need to change information in the chart about what the source location for the information for drawing is. And so to do that, I'm going to go into my chart and click anywhere in the chart and choose Select Data. And what I want to do is I want to specify where the count and count two information is located. Count and count two is what's used to create these bars that you see in the histogram. And so first I'm going to select the count. That specifies the left-hand side of the bar. Count two specifies the right-hand side of the bar. And I'll go to the Edit menu. When I do that, notice that, let me put this to the side, series name, count. Series values, though, that's what we're interested in. It's still highlighting just the number of values that we needed when we had bin sizes of 10. But now that we've run this out to bin sizes all the way, we've set bin sizes equal to 5, the number of bins that we need to be analyzing is greater. So I'm going to specify that it goes from 0 all the way out to, let's say, 65. And I'll go back and press OK. Then I need to do the same thing with the count 2. Remember, count is used for the left-hand side of your bar. Count 2 is used for the right-hand side. And I'll go in and edit this. And when I choose the series, again, notice that it had only gone out to the number of data calculations needed for when bin sizes were 10. Now what I'll do is take this all the way down to 65. Notice, though, that it doesn't have the first value. It starts at the second value and goes to the end. The count information goes from first all the way to end. Count 2 goes from second all the way to end. And let's take a look at what we get there. And if we press OK, notice what we've got now. Now we've got a histogram that spans out. What we don't have is our x-axis data doesn't go out far enough. You'll see it ends at 45. So we'll do the same thing here, but I'm going to highlight the horizontal axis and right-click on that, and then choose the Select Data option here. Horizontal axis, I'll edit here, and specify that we want to go out to 65. Jump back and press OK on this. And now our chart looks more appropriate. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. You can see we go out to 65. What's nice too is now with this chart set with bin sizes of 5, it's a little bit easier to see unusual long end of the tail data. If you remember earlier when we did an analysis of this pizza case, we found a data entry error where an 11-minute delivery occurred, and we see that in the bar here. We didn't when the bin sizes were set from a much bigger size of 10. Last thing that I want to do when I'm cleaning this thing up, anytime I go to the data tab for QI macros and make changes, I'm probably going to have to move those static objects. So my mean, I'll move to 40, and the spec, I'll move to 30. Again, these things, we didn't change the actual data. There's still the true values. It's just these static object arrows don't automatically move when you make changes to your data tab. And now I've got a pretty clean and robust histogram that I can use for process improvement work and start to ask questions about things like outliers, central tendency, and spread, or the amount of variation, and what's causing this in current state, and what do we need to do in future state to eliminate these things. And that's the whole purpose of a visual tool like a histogram, is to help with the analysis of current state to future state data.